This is like a part two. We reacted one yesterday, and we noticed a lot of very interesting things. Some of you guys were giving me some tips in the comment section below. Now, how the government works. And some of you guys were saying, no, 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 Pablo. The government is not that slow as you think. Maybe it's not. I thought that their German government was very conservative, but it seems like it's not. So it's a little bit confusing. Either way, let's jump in and see what's going on. Make sure you like and subscribe, guys. I'm gonna really appreciate it. And also, for donations, you can just do the super chats or links in the description down below. Let's jump in.
Scene, a prominent European Union, and a critical ally to the United States. From the Euro crisis to the migration crisis to geopolitics in Eurasia, Germany is a central player, and the world works better when the United States and Germany are aligned. Given how important Germany is, it's probably important that we understand how it works, how decisions get made. Critical things like how is the Bundestag, the German parliament, convened, who holds executive power, and why do Germans open the windows in the middle of winter? I don't need fresh air in a blizzard.
Do you guys do that? You open the window in the middle of winter? It might be because the heater is way too hot, right? I think that's what I'm thinking. I used to live in an apartment in New York, man. And one of the people that used to live there, they used to put the heater at 75 degrees Fahrenheit. Man, I had to just open the door. So I do understand Germans doing that because it makes sense, right?
So get your dunkles out, sell all your best players to Bayern Munich, because today we're looking at how the German government works. Germany is a pretty big chunk of land, about the size of Montana, and it's divided into 16 states.
Interesting.
It doesn't have a lot of big cities, but it has a whole lot of small cities. And with 80 million people, it's the most populous country in the EU.
Wow.
And it all starts at the ballot box. Every 4 years, the people of Germany vote in a parliamentary election. Now, when they vote in two different ways. For one, they vote for representatives from their electoral district, like Sven, Heike, or Uli. What's up, Uli? The other thing they do is vote for the political parties like Christian Democrats, Social Democrats, Greens, or the left.
There's a lot of parties
This
there.
produces a Bundestag with a base 598 seats, but typically some additional spots are added to make sure parties receive representation proportional to the votes they receive. These extras are called overhang. Half of the base of representatives are directly elected, and the other half earn seats based on the proportion of votes their party received. Now, because there are so many political parties, no one party gets an outright majority. A successful, or at least a viable parliament requires coalition building between the different parties. Meanwhile, each of the
That's what I'm saying, man. Like you guys don't think that government with that moves very slow? I mean, you have a lot of disagreements, man, when that happens. A lot of disagreements. It's when you have two-party system. That thing is slow as hell. Imagine having multiple parties, man. Everybody's pulling their own string. I'm just wondering, man, because it does look kind of interesting. Right? I'm just saying, from my perspective, it looks like the government does move very, very slow.
Local elections on a rotating 5-year basis. These local
There you go,
elections
5 years.
send
Oof.
representatives to the Bundesrat, a federal council in Berlin.
So this is like the House of Representative, right? This is right there in Congress. You have the speaker, and then you have the leader of the chamber. In the House, probably in this case will be a Republican. Then you have the vice president, a Democrat. In this case, that would be Kamala Harris and Johnson, right? And then you have here Biden, right? Am I seeing this correctly? Very similar.
The states. The federal reps and the state reps work together to elect a president every 5 years. Although the president does have some real power, like to dissolve the Bundestag or veto a law, he rarely uses it. It's mostly a ceremonial position. The president makes official state visits, he meets important people, and who knows, maybe even has someone to open the window for him in the middle of a blizzard.
Really?
The chancellor is appointed by the president and then voted on by the Bundestag. And it's the chancellor that sets policy guidelines, that picks a cabinet while holding together the coalition in parliament to make sure motions pass. And meanwhile, I'm still salty they wouldn't let me pass into the Berghain Dance Club in Berlin. That was some cold-hearted schnitzel. It
Schnitzel.
wasn't unconstitutional. If it was, I could have gone to Karlsruhe in southwest Germany, because that is where the Federal Constitutional Court is seated.
What do you guys think about your own constitution? Do you guys uphold it very nicely? Like here in the United States, we love the Constitution. It's like the grace, right? You have a lot of patriots, right, that just hold the document very high in regards. Do you guys do the same thing with your own constitution, or it's more like a ceremonial document? Or you guys, how can I say this? Do you guys see more the European Union as a symbol of how Germany needs to be? Does that make sense? What I'm trying to say? Good. I see the European Union as the federal government in the United States instead of confederate. Well, it's a confederation, right? So I'm just wondering if Germany's look at the European Union as the federal government in the United States. I'm just trying to do that comparison. That's how I see it from here.
It's a body made up of 16 judges. Half of them are elected by the Bundestag, the federal parliament, and the other half are elected by the Bundesrat, the body of locally elected representatives.
Mm-hmm.
And these judges serve for 12 years.
Oh, wow.
It's one of the most powerful Supreme Courts in the world, and it rules on the constitutional nature of laws passed by Parliament. So this is the basic overview of how the German political system is built. But no need to put your dunkles away, because next we have a look at how that system makes and maintains legislation.
Okay. All right, that was very interesting. Very interesting indeed. Very interesting indeed. I think, in my opinion, understanding some of these countries and how they just deal with politics, it'll make me understand more why some countries do have the different result from the United States, or vice versa, right? It all start, and I see something very important in German politics, more local politics, which it should be the case, right? You should be focusing mostly on your local area, because at the end of the day, the federal level is just a representation of the local politics in extension. If you see your government, your federal government going crazy, it's because your local politics crazy. It's an extension, so that means that if it is crazy, it is crazy. All right. But let me know what you guys think in the comment section below. I would love to hear you guys' opinion regarding the explanation of the video. Although some of these systems, European systems, are very similar, there's a lot of differences between them. And I would like to hear your guys' opinion. In the meantime, guys, I will see you in the next one.